Enchanting Color, Creating Fairy Tale Moods in Pigments. Guest lecture by Dr. Abigail Heiniger. Fairy tale moods and hues. The colors in fairy tale illustrations function to create a mood or an idea. Sometimes these colors are dictated by the literary fairy tale. For example, the Little Red Riding Hood and Snow White all have significant colors described in the text. However, color is primarily an artistic interpretation of the fairy tale illustrations. In this lecture, we will explore the way illustrators use color and pigment to shape the tone of literary tales. Notice the way Red Riding Hood's cape stands out against the drab forest setting in Arthur Rackham's illustration. The brown and the beige of the forest dominate this picture, creating a somber mood. The red cape seems to resist Red Riding Hood's threatening surroundings. Notice that the red figure is almost swallowed up by the dark background. The gnarled trees and the wolf both encroach upon her, and this spot of color makes her seem isolated and vulnerable. Daniel Eugenius' recent illustrations of the Grimm's Tale emphasize the sensuality of Red Riding Hood. Red has energy and sexual symbolism in these illustrations. Like Rackham, Eugenius paints Red Riding Hood in a sea of muted earth tones. But unlike Rackham, Eugenius' Red Riding Hood is not overwhelmed by her surroundings. The red figure is bold and seductive. The thick, broad strokes of red paint have energy and power that captures the viewer eye, while some of the translucent figures around Red Riding Hood are only apparent upon second glance. Thus, Rackham and Eugenius use similar colors to create dramatically different messages. Notice the way that Red Riding Hood's cape is transformed into a ball gown in this moonlit painting in the bottom. As in the other paintings, the red figure seems to be deliberately moving towards the horsemen in the distance. The bold red protagonist seeks out her wolves, the way the red cloak seeks her viewer's attention. Cinderella's fairy godmother, or the returning spirit of her dead mother, are consistently depicted in cool bloom tones, a color frequently associated with the Virgin Mary. The sanctifying use of blue in these illustrations would have been especially important for a Protestant audience in the 19th century, which would have traditionally questioned supernatural helpers that are not part of Orthodox Protestant theology. These illustrations then augment the literary tale, subtly shaping the reader's interpretation. Kay Nielsen's Red Rumpelstiltskin is a stark contrast to the blue spirit that attends Cinderella. The red demonizes the antagonist of this literary tale. This red, asymmetrical Rumpelstiltskin is a stark contrast to the white queen perched at the apex of a balanced court. Color, shape, and position all create a message of power and belonging that is not articulated in the literary tale. Thus, this illustration reinterprets the story for the reader. Color is one of the most significant features of Disney's animated films. It may be argued that Disney color codes fairy tales for the 20th and 21st century audience. Color is so significant in Disney's representations of fairy tale princesses that it has become shorthand. SNL used this shorthand in one of its skits, demonstrating the pervasive use of this imagery. This concludes our lecture on enchanting color.